name is Brandy. Welcome back to the Truth Be Told podcast. I am a registered dental hygienist with a local anesthesia permit, and I've been practicing in the dental field for the last 20 years. If this is your first time joining us, our podcast is focused on providing the underserved and underprivileged communities, particularly communities of color, with the tools, resources, and information to improve their dental health care experience. And today we have a special guest, Miss Tremaine. She is a friend of mine, and she was a coworker at one point. So we're going to be asking Tremaine some questions about front desk. What's going on, Tremaine?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Brandy.
Hey. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we met each other, right?
Good to see you.
You too.
Right.
So I wanted Tremaine to come on because Tremaine, when I was working with her, we're working together, she was working at the front desk staff. And I know that she has a lot of information for you guys. So I'm thinking about having Tremaine come on every once in a while, maybe every month, every couple months, just to give us like an update on insurance things, all types of front desk matters that, I'm not privy to at some point. So that's why Tremaine is here. But Tremaine, tell me, first and foremost, like, what is your job role, your job description? Can you fill us in on a little bit?
So I've been working in dental for about 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And in dental, I work the front desk. Right now, my current position is an operations lead, which is an assistant manager. But before, I was an insurance coordinator and then just your normal front desk receptionist for the dental office. So a lot of my knowledge and experiences is more on the insurance end as far as understanding the benefits and hopefully understanding it well enough to be able to explain it to patients, because patients don't understand their benefits and what they have.
Y'all sure enough don't be understanding. Okay, and y'all want folk to explain it to you for you, correct?
Mm-hmm. Read it for me and tell me.
Right. Oh my God. So, all right. So good. So most of your background is in insurance, but you also, make appointments.
Yes, I'm scheduling, making appointments, setting patients up for next steps, just going over treatment plans with the patients.
Okay.
Making them, helping them understand why the treatment is necessary and, their financial responsibilities that are attached to the procedures that are being recommended from the dentist.
That's what's up. So do you think, like, as somebody who works at the front desk, you should definitely have some knowledge of the procedures and things that go on the back?
Absolutely. I think, Brandy, when I started at the office, I was always, what's this mean? And what happens after you do this? Because if you don't understand what's happening in the back, you can't properly assist the patients when they call into the office, because sometimes they're not calling to schedule. They just want to know, what's my next step? What do I have to do after this? And then once that's done, then what happens after that? So 100% knowing the steps from the most simple procedures to, going in depth with implants and how that's beneficial, or, so you have to know what the procedures are and how it got like that in layman's terms to make the patients understand that this is why it needs to be done. And if it doesn't happen, this potentially is going to be the result of not addressing these situations.
Yes. And I love that you say that. And I feel like for you, it probably makes your job easier too, because you ain't got to be running all across the office trying to find somebody to explain, oh, what's the procedure? What do I tell the patient, right?
Yes. So when you get the information, remember it. So if you're watching the podcast and you're a staff member trying to get into it, knowing what's happening in the back is equally as important as being back there performing it. Because if you can't tell the patients what they're coming in for, they don't trust it. The trust starts at the front desk. So if they don't trust what I'm saying, they're not going to trust that whoever told me that information is telling them the right thing. So you want to start with building trust with the patient, and me having a clear understanding of what's happening in the back. It helps me help the patient.
Absolutely. And that's the most important thing. So we are trying to help you guys because I would assume most of the viewers that watch the podcast are patients or potential patients. And so, yes, you want your front desk staff to be able to answer basic questions or even elaborate questions, just like Tremaine was saying. So that makes a lot of sense. I like that. if there are 3 things that you could ask patients to know or be aware of or understand when they come to the front desk, either as new patients or current patients, are there 3 things you can think of that you would like patients to know?
Right off the bat would
Mm.
be know your dental insurance. Patients think that there's a magic system that I can just type in their name
Right.
and just kind of pull up everything. I've been doing it not long, but long enough to know, like, most people that work at this place, they have this type of insurance, but patients come in and they don't know anything. They just know where they work and that it's coming out of their paycheck. They don't know who what the insurance company
Listen, that
is,
ain't enough. That's not
and it's
enough.
not enough. So being aware of your, at least the basics of your insurance companies. Look, in patients' defenses, a lot of these insurance companies do not give dental cards, so they don't know
True.
because it's not something that's in their face.
Right.
But you guys are paying for something every 2 weeks. You should want to have as much information about where your money is going as you can, so nobody can take
Yeah,
advantage of you.
absolutely. And that's the
Um,
key.
yeah, because if you don't know, you leave yourself in a position where somebody can take advantage of you.
Yep.
The next thing is to kind of just have a basic idea of what your benefits are, whether it's a PPO plan or a HMO plan.
Hmm.
And patients don't know what that is necessarily. So when you
Right.
ask them, they have no idea. But
Yeah.
to just have a basic understanding of whether or not your plan is a PPO or HMO, because that's the first question at the front desk when you're coming in as a new patient, or if you're switching your insurances, you want to know what your office takes, if they accept HMO plans
Yep.
or DHMO plans, or if they
Hmm.
have PPO plans.
Hmm.
Um, you want me to go into kind of like the basic difference between the two of the
You
PPO and
know
the
what? We
HMO?
will do that, but that's for next time because we're gonna break them down. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
for
how we're
next
gonna
time.
be
So
in
now
part
I
2.
have to come back, right? Because now I got to
Right, you
tell
gotta
y'all
come
what
back.
I meant when I said
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. We're gonna have to break down the difference between
Yeah.
HMO and
So
PPO.
kind of understanding what type of dental plan you have.
Right.
Um, and then the only other obvious thing is actually having a breakdown of your benefits. When they send you all that information, take
Mhm.
a glance at it and actually read it. And if you have questions, have those questions there when you're setting up your appointment, so someone's able to assist you and letting you know what your chief complaint is, and if your
Yeah.
insurance even covers those things, because sometimes people have a chief complaint of something that may be not covered under their benefits, and they didn't even
Point.
know that
Mhm.
what I need, my tooth is hurting, I want it out my head, and you don't have
Mhm.
coverage for extractions. So
Right.
so and then it seems like you're being blindsided, but really these are your benefits. They belong to you. You pay for them, and
Yep.
you should have a basic knowledge of what you have. Even if you don't understand what it means, you have
Mhm.
some sort of knowledge. They send stuff, they give you guys portals, use them, read them, see
Mhm.
what read. And if you don't understand, call your insurance company. They're your insurance company.
Yep.
It's up to them to help you understand before you even get to an office. So
Yep.
once you get all that information in your email, call to the insurance company, have someone break down what exactly covers in your insurance, so you're not blindsided when you
Mhm.
get to the office.
And you
Those
know
are
what?
my three main things, to as far as walking in. If there was three things you needed to know: who your insurance company is,
Mhm.
whether it's a PPO or HMO,
Mhm.
and a basic knowledge of what your benefits cover and don't cover,
That's
would be the
perfect.
three things.
And I like how you said that this is can also be as simple as making a phone call to your insurance company. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Or going through the portal because they do, you can do the things online as well. And for some people who are not as tech savvy, especially some older, more mature folks, you can just
Mm-hmm.
get on the phone and talk to a representative and figure out, like, they can mail you a copy of a breakdown so that you understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I think you're right. You have to be your own advocate in those things. And so
And I think because people don't have a knowledge, getting dental work done is expensive. And they are 100% blindsided by the price because all they know is I have coverage, but you're not covered for everything. And even if you are covered for everything, it's only up for a certain amount of money.
Right.
And then that's where it gets complicated, where, yeah, you have coverage, but only up until $1,500. And then you got to take care of that on your own.
Right.
And one part of your procedure is $1,500.
Yeah, and you know what? You make a good point. So it's expensive, and I think people think, oh, I have a plan that's 100% coverage, but they don't understand maximums. They don't understand the fact that, if you give them a treatment plan and say, oh, your portion will be $200, they're like, oh, well, my insurance don't cover nothing. Well, you know how expensive this procedure is. Now I got to tell you, they cover $1,200 of it, but $200 you're responsible for. So I think that people really, you're absolutely right. They just need a basic knowledge, and then you can go through it when they're there at the office.
And when you have some sort of knowledge or just the basics. I have Delta Dental, it's a PPO, and I got a $1,500 max. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Right. If you have that as that much information when you come in, it's hard to explain something to somebody who already feels like they're being taken advantage of. But if you knew this before coming in, and then I start to tell you, well, the insurance is only going to cover you up to $1,500, then you like, oh, it did say $1,500 on that piece of paper. Like, you know what I mean? It did say I had $100 deductible. You know what I mean? So it starts to click. But if you don't take the time to get familiar with something that you are paying for, something that you're paying for, then
that's on you.
You can't be mad at me. And my favorite part about dealing with insurances is a lot of the times I'm just regurgitating facts. You can't argue with me about something that's on this piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, the insurance company says you don't need this. Or they said that it's not a covered benefit. And I'm just reiterating things that were already kind of laid out for you that you kind of failed to, and people don't know that because most people only go to the dentist when they got a toothache. Yeah, and at that point it's an emergency, and I don't want to hear nothing y'all saying. Make the pain stop, make the tooth out, or whatever.
And that's understood. That's understood, but still, there's other things that need to be done and addressed, and it makes the flow of things go so much better when you have a small knowledge. We're not saying be well versed. Yeah, we're just saying understand a little bit so that when it is being explained to you, you can have those little points where you're like, just like you said, Tremaine, oh, okay, $1,500. I remember seeing that being a max. All right, that makes sense. Or whatever. And then also, I have one I just wanted to quickly say is if you have double coverage, please know that, okay, because it's through your, oh, my husband, his ain't on there, just because his is on, just have both. Because sometimes people have two different insurances.
You have to know all of your insurances. It's like if you got an insurance through your spouse, when you come in, it's like don't hold the information and say I'm like you going to use it as a wild card. Like that's what I got more insurance. Like
they do that all the time.
Because you didn't have to be bombarded with information. Right, that like to scare you with this big price when you could have gave me this information up front, and then I could have still presented you with a treatment plan that showed both of your coverages. But just because you got double coverage, don't mean that you don't have co-payments.
Correct, and that's another. Thank you. You said that perfectly fine. So that's good. So all right, Tremaine. So now I have some things that I wanted us to break down and discuss when you come back next time. But before we end today, I do want to ask you: do you have a pet peeve for folks that's calling into the front desk, I don't know, dealing with the front desk in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion? What is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is I think that I don't like when patients make it feel like they're the only patient that's experiencing what is you are at a dental office. You got a toothache. She got a toothache. He got a toothache.
You're
Everybody
not in
is
the minority, right?
right. It's like you. So that thought combined with an attitude, because I'm here to help you and I want to help you and I want to relieve the pain and I want to get you in as soon as possible and I want to do all of that. What the old people used to say, you get more you get more honey, like you
Yeah,
guys
oh,
to
you
be
get more flies with honey than vinegar.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
facts.
And
Facts.
it's hard, and I think that people don't realize that we are people too, right? And I'm very empathetic because I haven't always worked in dental and I haven't always been knowledgeable about oral health and everything like that. So I've had a toothache before. I've been the patient in the office screaming and saying, "Oh, y'all not gonna do it. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Oh, y'all not gonna," until I found I was that patient once upon a time ago, right? But it's like now when you know better, you do better. So that's
Yeah.
what we here for, to kind of give you guys the full rundown. Everything is not an emergency, and because it's an emergency to you doesn't make it an emergency to the office. There are hundreds of patients calling to get in all day, every day.
Yes.
So my
Yes.
pet peeve is trying to make you like you're the only patient who needs to come in. We have other patients and other appointments that we have to honor, and there's other people who need help that planned to make sure that they didn't have to come in for an emergency appointment because they regularly come in for their appointments and they come in for their exams and their cleanings and they floss and they do all the things, the preventative measures to prevent you from having to come in as an emergency patient.
As they should.
You know, so I've been that patient, but I would just say just understand that the people at the front desk, we are here to help you and we're doing the best that we can to get you in as soon as our schedule allows it, you know. So just have a little patience and understand that the front desk is doing the very best that they can. I can't make spots and I can't make the dentist work any faster in the back. So if you stuck in the waiting room with me, don't be mad at me because they taking long in the back.
Yeah, because you know a number of things can be going on. So, but
Yeah.
yes, so absolutely. So I agree with you 1,000,000%. I appreciate you coming in and talking about this. I just think it's so needed because I know I focus a lot on what's happening in the back, but that's not the whole picture. You need the whole picture for people to understand what the experience is from when you walk in the door to when you leave.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of different pieces to go into that. So you are a huge piece to that. So I appreciate you coming on. And if you will, I will have you come back.
Absolutely. I would love to come back.
You guys, if you have any questions for Tremaine or for me, you can always email me at toothbetoldpodcast@gmail.com, or you can check out the Instagram page at toothbetoldpodcast and send a DM that way. Otherwise, you guys take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.